Hello, hello, it's Jecara, y'all. I'm excited to have this conversation with you because after this video, you're going to show up to your interviews with so much confidence, so much swag, so much know-how that you're going to kill whatever they put in front of you. I know that you deserve to advance at work, but align your passions at home as well as advocate for your needs in all areas of your life. Today, we're talking about the work situation. To show up differently, to show up with interview confidence, you need to prepare, practice, and perform. Let's get into it. To prepare for your interview, the very first thing you need to do is have a different mindset. The mindset you walk into that interview should be the interviewer's mind, right? They're thinking, how is this person, how is their skill set going to fit into my role? If you walk into an interview knowing that everything you say, they're twisting it to say, how is this going to apply to me? So that will change the way you set up your conversation, your questions, or in your answers to their questions, all right? So to do that, you want to prepare by looking at the job description. Right there, they've laid out 7 to 10 things that they're looking for you to be good in their role. Now, I'm a big proponent that you don't have to have 100% of the things on that list. You don't have to hit all 10 perfectly. As a hiring manager myself, what I'm listening for is the skill sets that they already have. Can we translate, convert? Can we teach and train that to do the skills that I need? So don't think you have to have 100% just to apply. Go ahead and apply, because what you're going to do next is say, whatever the skill set is, what have I done in my past that fits and aligns with that? Create the stories, create the situations that you've been in that applies to those different requirements that they've laid out. Have those stories ready and handy so when questions come up, you're ready to go, okay? Now, what I don't want you to do is go into the interview and say, I'm willing to learn anything. You can teach me, I'm a fast learner. That's important, but I can't teach you everything. I need to know your baseline. So don't just tell me you can learn. Show me what you can do and you've already done and how it's going to apply to me, the hiring manager. The other tip I'll give you is sometimes we do things so well and we're just like, I don't know these stories to pick. I don't know what I've done in my past that may fit here and it's a good story to tell. Ask others around you. It's called unconscious competence. Some things that you do so well, so easily, other people are amazed by. I didn't know you knew how to do A, B, and C. Oh, it's so hard for me to get X, Y, and Z done. And you're like, oh, I thought everybody knew how to do that. Oh no, baby, that's a skill set that you need to write down and make sure that you show in your interview that you know how to do or can translate into one of the requirements they have. So ask someone to help you pull things out if you're unsure of those tasks and situations and stories to pull out, okay? Now, we also want to take those stories because our next step, remember we talked about preparing, we need to practice those things. If you're already in a company or corporation, they may already have a bank of questions. You can go to HR or search your different intranets and websites to get a list of questions that you might be asked in an interview. You could also ask someone in that current role, someone in off your program or in a different area, but maybe a similar position. Hey, what kind of questions they're going to ask me? Lastly, you can just Google it. You can just Google the most popular interview questions and have them laid out. The next thing you want to do is practice those questions with the stories. You'll have someone ask you a question, and then you use one of your prepared responses and weave it into the answer to the question. This takes practice, because what I don't want you to do is for someone to ask a question and you're like, I don't know. No way, Jose. We are definitely practicing how we weave the stories into some of these most popular or common questions that will come up. Now, if you are in my Facebook group, you already know I have a list of questions out there that you can be prepared for. And if you're not, go to Facebook, search Women Empowered for Success, and join the group. Join the conversation, because we are just adding to these questions, answering for each other, and giving each other that hooray and that praise. So please join that group and we go into a little deeper dive into this. I will give you an example at the very end. I'll give you an example that ties all of this together. So keep listening. So once you've practiced with someone, I want you to take their feedback. Because if you give a response and they say, you didn't really answer the question, that might not be the right story, or they can give you some input into how to respond differently to show up, right? Show your skill set. Because what's the hiring manager thinking? How is what they're saying apply to my role? Keep that in mind, right? You prepared your mind with that mindset. You know that your stories need to align with the requirements, and just practice it and practice and practice until you're confident in what you're saying will answer those questions, okay? But then lastly, I need you to perform. I need you to get into that interview and just do the thing, all right? I want you to respond in the STAR format. This is not something Jecara created. This is like an HR thing, y'all. STAR, S-T-A-R, stands for situation or task, action, and result. When you respond to a question, give them the situation you're talking about. Give them a quick overview of what it is, what happened, what's going on. What action did you take? Now, I love that, I believe that teamwork makes the dream work. I say it all the time. I have it as a motto at work. Folks know I'm good for saying that. In an interview, though, I don't want to hear what the team did. If you can give me an overview of what the team did, your action should be what you did. What are you doing? Because again, I'm not bringing the team with me or to this new role. I'm just bringing just me. So just share what you did, and R is the result. Because it's great you did something, but what did it do for the team, the company, the people, the personnel, the bottom line? And give me the result of all of the story that you told, because you can ramble on for days, but give me the result of what happened. Okay, guys, here's the example. I'm going to take it all the way through: prepare, practice, and perform. All right. So let's say on your job description, they're looking for someone that has C++ experience, or SAP experience, or Excel. That's what I'm familiar with, so we're going to use Excel. So they're looking for someone who has an advanced knowledge of Excel. Now, my resume, it said Excel experience. I want to use an example of how I use Excel in the interview. The question comes to me, which I'm prepared for, because as part of my HR, they gave me a list of questions, and it was, tell me about a time when you started a process improvement for a job that you have or a task that you do. And I say, let me think about that. And I remember I need to share with them that I know Excel, and they want to know about a process improvement. So I'll start my story using the STAR format. I'll say the situation is every day, and you don't have to say situation, action, result. I'll just say, each day I'm responsible to aggregate enough information on an Excel document that is reviewed by several people. Once it's together, I then have to analyze it. It takes time to get that done. As a process improvement, see how I picked that word from the question? As a process improvement, I felt this can go a lot faster. How do I take this tedious task of pulling all the data together just so I can analyze it? It's taking me too long. So what I did a little Google search to understand some Excel features. I then talked to someone to use the tool a little bit differently than I did to give me some tools, some tips. And then I started practicing. Instead of just pulling the data, what I did was, my action I took was I created pivot tables. And then I learned about Power Queries. I then took that task that took 2 hours down to 10 minutes. And I spent all the time savings I used to analyze the data and come up with suggestions for my leadership versus just turning over information. I was now able to be more of an analysis, which that's what my job is to do. And I was able to share this same process with other teams and other programs to be able to spread the knowledge across the company. Bam, y'all see what I did there, right? I practiced. I knew that they wanted Excel skills. I knew they were asking me about process improvements. I tied those two together. I answered in the STAR format. Situation, got a job every day that I have to do in Excel. My action, I needed to do it quicker and faster. And these are the steps I did to get there. Result, I got my job done faster, and I trained the company how to do it better. So they heard so much from that story. I practiced it as well because I knew that those questions and that answer was coming. So that is how you lay it all out there using the prepare, practice, and perform. Y'all, I love that we can have the conversation and practice it along the way. But what I really want you to do is, this is your bonus tip. Don't forget to ask questions. After they've asked their questions and you're at the end of the interview and they say, any questions for me? Be sure that you ask. You can ask, tell me about the day-to-day, tell me about the team dynamic or the management style. But I also want you to use that time to share details that you didn't get an opportunity to share. You already prepared. You know the job description that they're looking for. And maybe in their questions, because not every interviewer is as good as me, you're not going to always have good interviewers. So they may not have asked the right questions for you to give the good answers. Find ways to say, well, I didn't get an opportunity to share with you that and start going down the list that you prepared. Share another story that might relate, but that's your time to shine as well. So don't just leave on a dud and say, nope, no questions. Ask something, but also share that time, share some other information or insight that's value added to the conversation at that time. This can seem like a lot. This can be a lot. But if you're looking to be promoted and are trying to be prepared for your next interview, I'll be more than happy to help. I do career counseling. Take that back. Let me rephrase. I do career coaching. So if you know what you're looking for, I can help you get there. I do a lot of practicing. I do a lot of helping people pull out that unconscious competence so that we can fit those good stories into those possible questions. So I do that one-on-one. I'd be more than happy to do that with and for you. Check those links down and below. Join the Facebook group to continue the conversation. And as well as like, subscribe, share this content, and re-look at it over and over again so that you can get these things down packed. Y'all, I'm excited for you. I'm excited for your journey. And I'm still in the journey as well, but I know these tips work. And I promised you, after this video, you'd have the confidence in your next interview. And I bet you do. Hit me up with a comment. Let me know how this affected you and impacted you. And until next time, stay inspired.